everyone. Thank you for coming today. This is our first large-scale teacher training, so we are very excited to have you all here with us. We do have a pretty tight schedule today planned with a lot of speakers, so we're going to get right into it. At any point today, feel free to put any questions you have into the chat. We have a lot of people who can help monitor those, and if time doesn't allow for questions to be answered during a specific time block, we can go back to the chat questions at the very end when we can have a verbal Q&A session. And speakers as well. If there are multiple speakers within your group, feel free to answer questions in the chat during or after your presentation time as well. Okay, so let's get right into it. First up today is our college panel. These are all PLE alumni and will be speaking about their experiences here and how it helped their college application process. So if you guys want to have each of you introduce yourselves a little bit.
Hi guys, my name is Emily and I will be attending Duke University next year. And then at PLE, I joined since 8th grade and then I've been mainly involved in kind of like managing, but also teaching like debate and ESL.
I can go next. My name is Kathy and I'll be going to Washington University in St. Louis next year. And I also started around like 8th grade, 9th grade, and I taught a lot of ESL classes as well. And I also help manage and like interview and do orientations and stuff.
Hi, my name is Mandy. I'll be attending Carnegie Mellon University next year, and I've been in PLE since 7th grade, and I've mostly been helping with the ESOL classes, and I've also helped to teach in some of the speech and debate classes.
Okay, thank you. So I do have a couple questions just to go through, and feel free to add anything that you would like. So the first thing is, what is the biggest lesson and takeaway that PLE has taught you?
Yeah, I guess I can go for that one. For me, I think what helped me the most was because for my PLE experience, I kind of did it by kind of reaching out to Sandra a lot. So I think I got a lot of my opportunities from reaching out to people that even though like they were strangers to me at first, in the end, like once you get to know them and then once you talk to them about like your goals and what you hope to do, they mainly help you and kind of guide you through the whole process. So for me, that was mainly Sandra, because when I reached out to her after like taking like a PLE Model UN class, I just wanted to know more about how I could really help. And then I think a lot of my experiences have kind of stemmed from that start. And therefore, I think that my biggest takeaway is definitely to kind of branching out and reaching to other people to kind of guide me. I think we can go on to the next question, actually.
Okay, so one second. How has PLE prepared you for the college admissions process?
I can go for that one. So for like the college admissions process, like you probably all know, you have to write like a ton of essays and stuff like that. So I think having a lot of experience with like teaching and managing at PLE and just kind of learning like leadership, public speaking, and all those skills, you get a lot of experience and you can write about it. And and it always helps to like, you can always connect it to what you want to do in the future. So it doesn't even matter if you want to be a teacher or something. You can always connect it to what you want to pursue in the future. And it always makes a good essay and an interesting essay. And also, like, I was involved with managing and leadership. So public speaking is like super important in now high school, middle school, college, and like in your future. So it's just always good to know like how to speak clearly, and PLE like really helped me a lot with that.
Okay, and what advice do you have for current PLE members on how to make the best use of PLE's resources?
I would say that one of the things colleges look for the most in the application process is you sticking to one thing for a long period of time. And I would say that PLE gives you a great opportunity to do that. They give you so many opportunities, such as teaching ESOL, which is the thing that I've been doing since the 7th grade, and I think that seeing this continuity, colleges really like that. So I would suggest to really try to focus on something within PLE and try to make it better, improve it, and go as far as you can with it.
I can add on to that. Also, colleges, they like to see you take initiative. So if you are interested in anything at all and you want to make it into a class or you want to just start teaching a class or managing, you can always reach out to someone like Sandra and she will help you like make a class for your own. Like I know over the summer, a lot of people like a lot of classes are like ballet classes, computer science classes. So whatever you're interested in, if you want to like pursue that, and it's a great way to show colleges that you're really interested in things and you have initiative to try and put your foot forward and put yourself out there. So I think that's also another way.
Yeah, and then adding on, I think like advice for like current PLE members or future youth teachers, is definitely to like take the best advantage of your resources because I think a lot of people don't realize that you could always reach out to people like Sandra. And if you have any ideas, like once you talk to her, she'll always find a way to like take an initiative and help you like start it. But all you need to do is really just reach out to her and tell her your ideas. And then there's always a way for you to kind of work it out on your own. So you have a lot of freedom. And therefore, I think it gives you a lot of opportunities to do the things that you really enjoy. But just make sure not to be afraid of like not being too shy and asking because I think that's definitely like a really big lesson that I've learned while being at PLE.
Okay, thank you. Do you guys any of you have anything to add in regards to other things with the college admissions or anything with the other questions previously asked? Okay, so yeah, thank you so much to our PLE alumni. These are all really great students and teachers. And so if you guys have any questions, next up, we will have PLE's MUN club. This is one of PLE's most successful clubs, and I will hand it to Emily and the other MUN leaders.
So next we have the Model UN Club, and then they will be talking about their club and how Model UN is beneficial for everyone to join.
Okay, so hello guys, we're the PLE MUN Club, and I'll be starting off by talking about what are some of the benefits of MUN. So one of the main key benefits is that it helps to build your confidence, and this is not just in your speaking, but in your social life in general. So it helps you with your social skills, where you get to learn how to deal with different types of people and talk to others. And it also helps you with your speaking and debating skills. So you'll be able to give more confident speeches and convince others on your perspective. Furthermore, during club, you'll also be given many chances to research and study global issues. So you'll be able to have more knowledge on global issues and be able to create more nuanced solutions to these problems.
Yeah, and to continue on what Meghana, sorry, I don't know how to pronounce her name actually, but to continue on that, the other three traits you can learn are critical thinking, thinking on the spot, and leadership. So MUN is really the de facto competitive activity for leadership. During committee, especially in General Assembly committees with upwards of 100 people, you're going to need to have a lot of influence in directing blocks and even the committee, and that requires really strong leadership skills. And to be successful, you don't want to overly dominate other members in the committee, and you need to let your people speak. So that is why MUN really trains your leadership capabilities. And then for critical thinking, if you know what that is, that's basically the ability to use logic and reasoning to get your points across and to understand things. Well, everything from researching to figuring out other people's positions requires a lot of critical thinking. And finally, for thinking on the spot, I can give a short example. So one time I was going to the Princeton Module 1 conference, and my assignment was supposed to be China. Like they told me my assignment was China. At the last moment, we had to switch to the United States, and that meant that I only had around 8 hours to prepare. So basically, I woke up and they told me that they had switched my country assignment. So from that point onward, I really had to like do a lot of fast research. I didn't get too much done, but during committee, I just had to think on the spot, right? Like making those speeches really fast and making them out of nowhere, and that's one of the most powerful traits you can learn. And passing it to Saeed.
Thank you very much. So why PLE MUN? So during this club, as mentioned before, by through our drills and exercises that we do with the kids, it helps build experience, and because it's a club, it helps create bonds between each of the delegates, and it really builds a community where they can not only talk to us as we are people who have experience, but also they can share ideas among each other in the future, and it can make a really good team. Again, it makes them more confident in building their own circles, and also helps them understand MUN more holistically. Also, we have really good instructors. For example, Claire and Jack, they have won several MUN competitions and have best delegated in many. And we believe that with these instructors and with our drills and with all the resources that we can provide, we can build a good community for them to strive.
Okay, and now I'm going to talk about what we're doing in Run Club as of right now. Currently, we're working on public speaking and Model UN drills, which includes trial scenarios, team debates, and crisis exercises. And the reason we're doing this is because we want to build a foundation for all these students to have for future simulations or conferences. And we aim to develop skills that were mentioned before that are important to be successful in not only Model UN, but also in like communities and societies as well. And we are also teaching students the basics of crisis, which is kind of like another style of Model UN, in hopes that they can get to know something that they'll hopefully enjoy and compete in conferences.
All right, and then finally, where we're going to go in the future. So right now, our future for the club looks pretty bright. We for the past few weeks have had about 15, 16 members, just near the limit of our club. And there's still obviously lots of stuff that we can do to improve it. But there's a couple of things. So our club is pretty general. Some students, if they learn MUN quicker or have had previous MUN experience, they may be kind of bored and they may not, want to attend the club. So for the future of the club, we envision it sort of becoming slightly smaller clubs, slightly more clubs, and then more specific clubs, maybe around 8 to 10 delegates. These clubs will be obviously highly maneuverable, definitely more so than they are right now. And they can easily change to fit what these 8 or 10 students or how many ever students we have. They can easily change to fit what they need. Obviously, this is both higher interest levels and higher learning levels. And this sort of focuses on some of the specific skills that MUN requires that we've sort of talked about throughout this, and students can improve more rapidly. So, for example, a week in the life of, let's say Joe is a PLE MUN Club student, right? And he's attended a couple MUN conferences, but he feels like his position papers need some work. And then he's gone to a crisis simulation before, but he's sort of lost there as well. He doesn't know how to do some tactics and stuff like that, take over Afghanistan, whatever, right? So he might choose to go to Thursday's club, let's say run by Saeed, that's teaching them how to run position papers. This is all hypothetical, by the way. But for example, Saeed might be teaching him how to write position papers on Thursday. And then, Megna might be teaching, what's his name, Joe, how to, do crisis tactics on Saturday, something like that. That's essentially where we're going towards. Hopefully you'll come and check that out. I think, Emily, if you would like to, drop the link to our slideshow. We keep a log of our club every week if you guys want to check that out as well. And yeah, we meet Sundays, 8 to 9:30 p.m. EST. That's 5 to 6:30 PST, I believe. So yeah, if you want to drop in, feel free. That's it
And
from us.
just to add on to Jack, so these clubs like really work well with anyone who's just taking the normal PLE classes. So as you know, PLE has a lot of Model UN classes, and we really encourage anyone taking those classes to also participate in the club. Yeah.
Cool, thanks guys. And then so the link I sent out is like pretty much of a summary of what happens during the clubs. You can see the pictures that people who are participating, and also there's a Zoom ID and password in it. So if you're interested in joining, please contact Sandra and she'll let you know how you can sign up. And thanks, guys.
Okay, so thank you to the MUN Club. Please sign up if you are interested. There are a lot of benefits to joining MUN. The last item on today's agenda is some exchange of experience and advice from some of our PLE teachers who have received good feedback in the past. If you are currently a teacher at PLE active, or you would like to teach with us in the future, please take note on any of the qualities you think may be useful in your own classes. So we are steadily improving the quality of our classes as a whole. For our speakers, I'll just be calling on you, and then I'd like you to introduce yourself, the class or classes that you are teaching or have taught in the past, and then present what you'd like to say. So first, Jennifer, if you would like to speak.
All right. Hi, everyone. My name is Jennifer Gu. I am currently in 10th grade, 16 years old in high school, and I've been teaching at PLE as a youth teacher since 2019. I started off as a teacher and I taught reading and speech and debate classes. And right now I'm running my own Toastmasters club here at PLE. And I also do the interviews for our new youth teachers as well as trainings from time to time. So today I just wanted to share something important that I've learned from my experience here at PLE, and that is to definitely pay close attention to your students when you are teaching. And although this might seem pretty simple, it's definitely very important. The best teachers that I see in interviews are the ones that acknowledge that they are teaching students when they're teaching. So they're asking questions to their students, making sure that they are understanding all of the content and material, and just generally getting to know the students better. And of course, this is all pretend, because in interviews, we do mock lessons. And it's not enough to go over the lesson plan and just cover content and just run through the slides when you're teaching. It's always important to get to know your students, interact with them, and get to know their goals as well. And that can help you work with your students and generally help them reach their goals. So recently I had the opportunity to do a training with a new youth teacher, and I'm still doing it right now currently. I've had a few meetings with him over the past few weeks, and I got to see his goals and improvements in particular to himself. So I got to learn a few specific things that he could improve on, and with that, we learned together, we practiced, and this is something that youth teachers should know for all their students. And I know in my case, it might have been easier, but it's definitely very important to learn more and get to know your students on a personal and academic level when you're teaching a class as a whole. So a few simple ways that you can do this. Write notes about your students, just generally see how they are improving in your class, which basically means to track student progress. And this is definitely going to help you pay specific attention to your students. And this is all very important because establishing a connection with your student or students will definitely help them reach their goals in regard to your teaching subject or your class. And as volunteer youth teachers, we are all here to help people. And that definitely means closely helping your students. All right, that's all I have to say.
Okay, thank you, Jennifer. She's one of our very experienced teachers now, so feel free to ask her any questions if you have them. Next, Elaine, if you'd like to speak.
Hello, so I'm Elaine. I'm currently in 8th grade, and I teach the Dongguan class, English, and I focus mostly on pronunciation. And so I do a full immersion class where basically I only speak in English, so they're constantly exposed to it. And for me, how I run the class, because like sometimes if I ask questions, they might not necessarily be able to like answer because it's like completely in English, so they might miss like part of the question and not really be able to respond. So occasionally, if it's a review day, because sometimes the main teacher will take like multiple weeks, then I try to get to know them as well. And I do recommend building that kind of like personal relationship with your students as well, so they get to know you and feel more comfortable like reaching out to you for help. So like I'll just ask them like very simple questions like what's your favorite color, and what grade are you in, what do you like to do, things like that. But mostly during the weekly classes where I'm actually teaching the material, what I do is I read an excerpt and then I ask one of the students to read it back to me, and then I give them suggestions mostly on pronunciation but also like on diction and like phrasing and tone. And basically, I focus more on them speaking and working on different aspects of knowing the English language very well, as opposed to like teaching them the actual curriculum, like teaching them what's going on in the passage, because that's more of like the main teacher's job. That's what she actually chooses to do most of the time. And I want to make sure like the curriculum doesn't like duplicate. So usually when I leave assignments, I ask my students to kind of read the excerpt after I send them weekly recordings, and I give them feedback. And that's another thing I would recommend for youth teachers. It's to really try to actively give help to your students, because a lot of the times I find my students don't necessarily ask me specifically for advice, but them like posting vocabulary they were struggling with, or like sending me them reading. I feel like that's their way to ask me for advice, and I try to give them really constructive feedback and like point out their strong points, and also give them suggestions to improve. Um, and I think it helps build them up. And I always try to be really positive with feedback, and that's something else I think is really important. And like be gentle with your suggestions, but also point them out so that they can grow. And I do see like my students improving if I'm more specific about what they need to fix, and if I like say a word for them before asking them to repeat. Yeah, so those are some general suggestions for youth teachers that I have from my teaching experience.
Okay, thank you, Elaine. That was a lot of really good advice too. So um, thank you. Next, Jessica.
Hi, my name is Jessica, and I'm currently in sixth grade. And some of the advice I have for PLE youth teachers is that you can create an interactive lesson and to make it like more interesting, or you can, yeah, just make overall making your lesson interesting so the students would want to like learn, and they'll be interested in your lesson. So instead of just like giving a long lecture and just talking and ignoring all of the students, you want to like make sure to include them and make sure that they understand what you're talking about. And some students might be like a little bit shy. So if you notice that they're not understanding what you mean, but they're not asking questions, you can ask them personally if they have any questions, or just explain yourself again and try to make it simple and easier to understand. And sometimes when you're giving the lesson, you may encounter like harder words. So you want to make sure to explain to the students what the word means, instead of just ignoring the word and going on. So you can ask if any students know what the words mean, and if they know, then you can ask them to try to explain the meaning to everyone else. And if they don't know, if none of the students know, you can repeat the word again and ask the students to repeat after you so they know how to say the word, and then you explain the meaning of the word in a simple way. And when you teach your lesson, you can include pictures and backgrounds inside your presentation, to make it more interesting, and you can add videos in between lessons. And you can give a short lesson, like a grammar lesson, a spelling practice, or teach new words to the students to help them improve faster and learn more from your lesson. And that's all I have to say. Thank you.
Hey, good job, Jessica. And our last speaker today is Zach. You want to say something about your classes? Okay, so if Zach, you don't want to speak today, that's fine as well. So Zach and Nick are also doing a debate club right now, which is very successful, and they all both have some very good teaching experience as well. So they're also good resources for you if you would like to find some more information or resources about teaching from them. Okay, so at this point, if anyone has any questions, you can, of course, put them in the chat or verbally tell us as well. And then everyone who presented today, if you would like to give a contact information, so robotics, I think you gave a TechnoWizard's email, if you would like to pop that into the chat. And then if you are interested in MUN, it'd be great to contact Sandra, so Sandra J at pleonline.org. I can put that into chat. And Emily just put hers in as well. Okay. So before we wrap up today, I have a few final remarks. So of course, consider all of the different opportunities that were explained today. Additionally, if you are interested as a teacher, if you're a teacher in PLE right now, or you're not quite teaching in PLE, or if you're a student of PLE, I do have some opportunities open for curriculum and management. So please contact me if you are interested in that. I can put that information in. Okay. Also, I would like to remind you all that our annual summer camp will be starting soon. So we'll probably have half-day sessions in June and August and full-day sessions in July. So please look out if you are already a PLE teacher registered with us. We will be sending out emails on how to register for this event. And we strongly encourage all of you to come. This is a really big PLE event, and we often need most of all of our PLE teachers to come in and support this event. Of course, if you're interested in formulating your own subcamp over the summer, you are completely welcome to as well. Just send me a proposal of what you would like to do. And then if you aren't a PLE teacher yet, but you are interested in becoming one, I encourage you to fill out this application form. So we will have you fill out the application, and then afterwards, Jennifer, who was our first teacher exchange presenter, she will be scheduling an interview with you, and you might be interviewing with a variety of our PLE interviewers. So at this point, are there any other questions? Okay, thank you guys so much for coming to our first teacher training, our large scale teacher training. And we hope to see you at the next one, and hopefully PLE can come together more like this. And I hope you guys have a great rest of your day, rest of your weekend, and have fun with your lives. You guys are free to go. Thanks for coming, everyone.
Bye, thank you.
And goodbye.
Bye.
Bye, thank you.